I don't know why, I just haven't done this quest yet. I'm probably not going to talk during this. Not unless there's some interesting observation.
Well, if it isn't my dear partners.
That voice! It's Navia!
I didn't expect to run into you guys here today. Are you headed somewhere?
How about you, Navia? Are you still busy rebuilding Poisson?
We've wrapped up most of the rebuilding, but there are still a few things left to take care of. Stocking up on materials, confirming construction timelines, discussing compensation terms with families affected by the disaster. Between all of that, I've been making a lot of trips between the court and Poisson. Well, though the victims have received relief payments from the court, in my opinion, as the administrators of Poisson, Spina di Rosula should take some responsibility as well. Our financial situation right now isn't the best, so all we've been doing is signing agreements for the damages to be repaid at a later date. Though just pieces of paper now, they demonstrate our commitment. They're necessary to restore the people's faith in us.
Whoa! Spoken like a true president! You're a really responsible leader. That must be taking up most of your time, though, right?
Oh, you bet. Between that and all the other errands I have to run at the court, I'm always forgetting one thing or another. So before I came over this time, I took a page from Melusa's book and decided to make a list of everything. This way, it's easy to see which tasks you haven't checked off. And then, since Melus loved using shorthand, I decided to also follow his example and come up with some shorthand of my own. But after running a few errands in the city, I'm kind of struggling to even read my own handwriting anymore.
That does sound like you, all right. So what kind of shorthand did you use?
Oh, wanna take a look?
Let Paimon see! Wait, there's nothing here but a bunch of weird symbols. This looks like a piece of kelp wrapped around a stick. And this other one, is it supposed to be a boar in a box?
The first one has to do with confirming the final payment amount for the fishermen, while the second one is a reminder to try the new burger that just hit the market.
Okay, Paimon can definitely see how you might forget what each of these mean.
Thank you for your advice. These are the kinds of things you only really figure out once you've tried them out yourself. I thought that as long as I understood my shorthand when I came up with it, I'd be sure to remember the symbols when I looked at them later. Unfortunately, I've definitely proven myself wrong.
Well, now you know for next time.
Anyway, I should have already taken care of most of the things on the list. There are still a few symbols that I can't decipher, but I don't think they're anything too super important. Worst comes to worst, I'll just make another trip.
Ah, so you're going to head back now?
Yep, that's the plan. Oh, actually, since we talked about the reconstruction earlier, want to come with me and check out the town for yourself? You said you don't have any plans, right? So we can just catch a boat and head over. It won't take long at all.
It's a bit sudden, but Paimon doesn't see why not. What do you think, Traveler?
Then let's go. We'll take a boat over.
Oh, you mean the Aquabus, right? Like the Clementine line?
Oh, sorry. I meant our own boat. The Aquabus doesn't have a station near Poisson, so we'll use one of the Spina's boats. All right, follow me. I'll take you there. The engineer is still doing a few routine safety checks. We can head out as soon as we get the green light.
So, Paimon has always wanted to ask. The 3 Aquabus lines are all named after people in your family, right?
Yeah, that's right. Callus and Navia are self-explanatory, while Clementine was the name that my mother went by.
If you Mora to build the lines, then why isn't there even a dedicated line to Poisson? Spina di Rosula built all the lines, yet you still have to take a special boat just to go home. Paimon doesn't get it.
Well, what I heard is that most of our businesses don't actually use Poisson as a hub. So there was no real reason to build a line straight to Poisson. You are right that it is a bit strange, though. If you've already committed to build 3 lines, why not just add a 4th?
Yeah, that's what Paimon's saying. The Aquabus is so convenient, it's really a huge shame.
Well, it is what it is. You know what my father was like. Even I often struggled to figure out what was going on in his head. But that would only be the case if he cared about what others thought. My father was always really stubborn. Once he made up his mind, good luck getting him to change it. From what I've heard, the rights of all the other members of the Spina only went as far as giving him advice or suggestions, and no farther. That included my mother, too.
Huh. Well, that explains why you weren't on the greatest of terms with him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just let him keep getting his way. He was just... not very agreeable.
Boss, the boat's ready. We can head out.
All right, then let's head out.
How does shoulderless dresses having at work? Do you just like pull on the sleeves and just pray they don't fall off?
It'll be a while before we get to Poisson. Let's keep talking.
Navia, what was your mother like as a person? Oh, Paimon's sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her at all.
That's all right. I've heard many stories about her from the rest of the Spina. They've always said that they were sure we would have gotten along famously. While my papa was stiff like a board, my mother was supposedly super cheerful and funny. Their complementary personalities allowed them to make up for each other's flaws. My father would run the businesses and expand our reach, while my mother would keep the peace and make sure that everyone was happy. Their work made sure that the Spina could grow and thrive.
Sounds like they were not just a well-matched couple, but fantastic business partners as well.
Yeah, but those are just stories and anecdotes after all. It's hard for me to piece together a more complete or intimate picture of her. But sometimes I'd still look at the Clementine line and wonder, would the Spina and Poisson still be what they are today had my mother survived? Silver once said that a name is a kind of inscription, a way to etch a memory into the world. When given a name, a cold, inanimate object can gain a completely new meaning. So, I will always associate the line with her in my heart. Over the past few weeks, I've also begun to appreciate how water can take in and hold our most intense feelings and memories, as well as how one may reflect on their past by watching the sea. I've lost many beloved people and memories to the sea. Even though I cannot stop for them and must continue to keep moving, the fact won't change that they existed in my life and gave me the reason and motivation to move forward. Always. But no matter what, we can't change the past. But I tell myself that I need to keep looking towards the future. Everyone, even my parents, have already overcome so many obstacles. Besides, I'm the president of Spina di Rosula. I've got to keep my chin up.
A common complaint nowadays is that no characters die in Genshin. Oh. Okay, fine.
We've reached the shore. Let's go. I'll show you the new Poisson.
People complain that no characters die, and I do think it's a somewhat valid complaint. You don't need life or death stakes for a story to work, but obviously it offers its advantages and its disadvantages, but there's way more advantages to it. I think obviously there's problems with killing off a playable character. just for like canonicity, and also it won't stick. You won't really feel the impact of that death if you can then go play as that character, and they can't make it so you can't go play that character, because otherwise people that spent a couple £100 getting that character to C6 are going to be fucking fuming. I suppose in that way, the only way to do it would be to release a character for free, make them completely freely playable. You can just pick them up as an event or something like that, or you get them after a story quest. And then once you complete that point of the story, then they die, and then you lose them. But even then, of course, that would still be pretty controversial, I think. I think another way they could do it is to introduce characters into a story which have visions. And of course, typically, if a character has a vision, they're going to be playable. Even if it takes years, like Baiju, they will be playable. There's only one character, I'm pretty sure, in the entire Genshin world that we've seen with a vision who isn't playable. And that is Varna from the Sumeru World Quests. Of course, that quest was about her getting a vision. I wouldn't mind it if she came back as a playable character, because that quest was nice. Long, but nice. But I think a way to do it would be to introduce characters with visions, make us think they will be playable down the line, and then fucking kill them. Because that way it will give a sense of, oh fuck, this character could die. We don't know. Up until this point in the game, every time we see a character with anything approaching a unique model, and they have a vision, they're not going to die, and they're going to be playable at some point. I think they have the money to be able to make some more character models. They really do. I think that would be a good way to approach it. To I'm not saying bloat out the cast. That would be a problem. And make the Genshin's story and character problems worse. But I think a good way to sidestep the problem of killing off characters is, well, to kill off characters, but make them seem like they will be playable in the future, but they aren't. They're going to die. I think that's a good way to handle it. And of course, like, leakers are not infallible. If leakers say they're not going to be a playable character, people should not be taken that seriously. Because, again, the leakers have been recently proven completely, dramatically wrong on some shit. The leakers, I don't get why no one's talking about it. As far as I'm aware, no one's talking about how the leakers got some massive shit wrong. Like, they were completely wrong about the Venti rerun. They said so much shit about the Venti rerun and just none of it materialized. And I feel like a lot of shit they've been saying about Chenyu Vale may also end up not being true as well. With Venti, they said the Venti rerun would have a second story act for him. I don't know if they said it would come with a new trance domain, but it probably would. And it would come with a monster expansion. None of that happened, and Venti reran a patch earlier than expected, I think. So that was just completely fucking made up. And so all this stuff about Chenyu Vale could also be, but of course there is the evidence in-game in that John Lee's birthday mail mentioned it. And it has been mentioned many times before. But also Dorman Port has been mentioned many times before. But I think that would work.
Navia, do you think she's doing all right? Okay, Paimon supposes you're right. She's really been through a lot. It couldn't have been easy shouldering so much by herself.
Why does it feel like it's been ages since I've done a story quest? It hasn't been that long. I mean, we just had a fucking event with cutscenes in it. What's going on there? Oh. I don't have enough more. Also, of course, I think I was saying before I was considering getting Jiangling C5 from Lantern, right? The considerations are Jiangling C5, Yao Yao C2. I mean, what characters are available from Leeway selectors? Leeway 4 stars. So Xingqiu we already have C6. Jiangling we can get C5. Yao Yao C2. Beidou C5. I don't care for Beidou constellations. Yunjin C1. 18%. That's very specific. I mean, that would be a little bit less than 2 seconds. 1.5 seconds-ish? It's less than 1.8 seconds. But not too much less, so... probably about 1.5 seconds. Yeah, not interested. Yanfei will be on it, won't she? Ah. And of course, Yanfei is she benefits from the overload shivers. Chongyun. I've never used Chongyun, and I never will. Interesting. And also fucking Xinyan. Oh, does that mean it is guaranteed to crit? But yeah, Xinyan's like one of the worst characters in the game, so... I believe Gaming will also be on the selector, so for me it's between Jiangling, Yao Yao and Gaming, so yeah, I'm not really interested in any of those other characters. And that one guy released a video about Gaming apparently being like just as good as Su Tao, which I don't fucking believe, because that guy's already kind of full of shit. I think sure you can crunch some raw numbers, but numbers are only half the story. Yeah, I don't trust that guy anymore. Numbers don't factor in investment, they don't factor in the difficulty, they don't factor in what enemies you're fighting, they don't factor in what the Abyss bonus is, they don't factor in fucking anything, really. So raw numbers are somewhat meaningless, and they can change dramatically based on anything, so don't fucking listen to meta-analysis like that.
Oh, hey! Fancy seeing you again, Florent. Is it your turn?
Oh, of course Ningguang will be on sector as well. I don't have Ningguang yet.
I can
I'm thinking
totally
I'll just get
take care of
Ningguang
myself.
at some point.
For
I'll
the
lose the
time being,
50-50
I'll go around
and get
without
her,
any
and that'll be it.
attendance.
I'll never
We
touch
did
her.
hand over some of Malus's old responsibilities to Florent, though. It's been really nice to have him around to help out.
Thank you for the compliment, boss. As you see, I've been working closely with the boss on rebuilding Poisson. Mr. Malus was an extremely capable and respected member of the Spina. I've got some really big shoes to fill.
All right. There's no need to be so formal. Everyone's practically old friends by now. Were you waiting here for me? Did we manage to make any progress on the statue?
Yeah, we contacted a sculptor about the job, but they can't get started on sourcing a correctly sized block without knowing the design that we want to use first.
You're commissioning a statue?
So basically, we've been meaning to commission a statue of my parents in commemoration of everything they've done for the Spina and the town of Poisson. But since my father was known as Callus the Unfaithful for the longest time, it would have been too controversial to commission a statue of him. But now that his name has been cleared, and the town is also being rebuilt, I thought this would be the perfect chance to actually realize this dream.
The funds
I'm getting a little bit worried that by the time
Clement
Clevend gets run, she's going to be like just out of
Clementine and Mr. Callus,
our perception for so long. No one's going to care. So Clevend already didn't really get a lot of screen time. She just showed up and said, "Hi, I'm Clevend," and then left. That was basically her role in the entire story. There wasn't much point in her being there. She added a little bit of drama to Act 2, and that was basically it. Every other appearance she had was a cameo appearance. And now, maybe she'll appear in this quest, maybe she won't. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried. I do like Clorinda as a character. Potentially she could just be a better catching, which I think is a shame, because catching is one of my favourite characters in the game. But I would love to use catching, but with Raiden now, I just have even less reason to build catching. Well, my catching is built. She's one of my... I need to show my catching build after this.
Me? I'm just the newbie president that's running around and causing everyone trouble. Maybe we can have this conversation again in a few decades, once I've done more for the town and the people.
Hey, there's no need to be so humble. Didn't you just help save the entire country?
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe that Boss should have a place on the statue.
Hey, if you keep inflating my ego like this, I might just float off into the sky with my parasol. Just kidding. There's no way that I'd accept that kind of compliment at face value. At a minimum, I'd have to match what my father did for the people. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I just don't think I'm ready yet. Anyway, Florent, now it's up to us to confirm the final design, right?
Mm-hmm. We can ask the sculptor to start looking for a good block once we've decided on the poses for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus. But we haven't had any real discussions yet on the possible designs. I feel like I should get a few promising designs first, and then send them over to you to review.
There's no need for all that. Let's decide on a design right now. Hey, you! Come over here with me. Modeling a few poses, of course. Here, just pretend to be Callus, and I'll be Clementine.
That's...
Didn't you say on the boat that Callus and Clementine sounded like great partners? Well, then there's no one better to fill this role than my most valuable partner.
There's this weird phenomenon in Genshin where it feels like characters only spawn into existence the moment Traveler shows up. Apparently Navia just doesn't have any friends other than us. How does that happen? What do you mean? We are at a point in the story where people know who we are, especially after this. Especially after Fontaine. At this point, everyone knows who we are. So... Hell, I think people knew even in Inazuma arc. Like, at this point, we're one of the most, famous people on Pan. Possibly the most, actually. I mean, so to a degree it makes sense, but still, Navia just doesn't hang out with fucking anyone else. No one hangs out with anyone else. Everyone fucking treats us like we're lifelong friends, and we aren't. That doesn't mean we aren't great friends, but still, it's kind of weird
Florent, let's grab some reference shots.
You've got it, boss. I'll go get the camera.
Well, what do you think? Got any ideas? Well, I've actually discussed it a bit with Florent before, but I could never come up with any fresh or original ideas. It's probably because my idea of them is already kind of set in stone. So, I want to pick your brain for a bit and see if you can come up with some new and interesting ideas.
I'm all good here, boss. Feel free to start posing whenever.
Ah, by that, do you mean as if we were standing on a boat and looking out at the sea? Sure, let's give that a try.
Whoa, you really remind Paimon of a captain and their first mate.
Look over there, my dear Clementine. As you can see, every tree on that island is dripping with mora fruit.
But there's something off with the composition. This pose makes Mr. Callus look too tall next to the lady.
I love when Corner gets to actually show off that she's actually a really fucking good voice actor. God, I fucking miss those Summoning Files. Oh. Yeah, I've talked about this before. My phone background for the last, 2 or 3 years now, I think. It's been a while. Definitely 2 years, at least. Since the start of, sixth form. My phone background, both my lock screen and my background, is a collage I've made of influential characters. Primarily games. I'm thinking about branching it out to other stuff, but it is games. Right now I think it is only games characters. It is a lot of characters. I'll go through and I'll list all of them. Okay. So the basis for the art, first of all, the basic image is Death from Darksiders 2. The cover art, I think it is, of Darksiders 2. Above his right shoulder, so the top left of the image, I'll go down and then to the right. We have Mario from Super Mario Galaxy 2's box art, riding Yoshi with a Luma next to him. Directly below them is Von Karma from Ace Attorney, Gloria from Sword and Shield, and Akari from Pokemon Legends Arceus. And then below that is Leon from Resident Evil 4, and then layered on top of Leon from Resident Evil 4 is Leon from Resident Evil 4 Remake. And then we're at Death's Scythe. So below Death's Scythe is Raiden from Metal Gear. Hanging off of Raiden's blade is the Prisoner. And also next to the Prisoner is Solanum. Below Raiden is Miles Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth is nestled right on top of Master Chief's city. Master Chief is the second biggest character in the image. Second only to Death himself, which makes sense. Below Edgeworth on Master Chief's city is Leon from Resident Evil 2. He appears 3 separate times. Also next to Leon's head is Terrorblade from Terraria. Also behind Leon is Goddo from Ace Attorney. Also at the very bottom we have Mari, Basil and Amori. Going back up, next to Solanum is Sari Hasegawa sitting right on top of Master Chief's head. Above Sari Hasegawa is the engineer. Yeah, the engineer from Risk Rain 2. On top of the engineer is Kasane from Scarlet Nexus. And then above her is a hunter from Destiny 1. Specifically the original Destiny 1 promotional material. I very specifically wanted to choose that. Then going back down, like right on Death's chest is Raiden with John Lee sprouting off of like Raiden's cloth draping from like her arms. Over Raiden's other shoulder is Garnu. These are like all of their banner poses. Except for John Lee. John Lee is some promo art pose, the rest of them are in their banner poses. So Garnu's on the other side, and then next to Garnu is Nahida. Below all of them is Necro's Prime. And this is like the center of the image. Below Necros is Madeline from Celeste, jumping for Strawberry. Also, right next to her is Doomslayer. Below Madeline is 2B and Persona 3 Femc. Below 2B is Aegis, and below Aegis is both Aubrey's, Sumi from Persona 5 and finally on the far right, bottom far right, we have Akechi, we have Sylveon, we have Mizuki Okiura and Date from Somnium Files. Above Date is Lara Croft from the like 2010s reboot series. Above that is Optimus Prime from Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Above that, on the far right of the image, is Batman from Batman Arkham City. Right next to Batman is Edith Finch. And above Batman is Friedhaber, Sumi again, and Joker. Persona 5 protagonist. I say once, I'm wondering if there are more characters I should add on to that. Because I think it's very crowded. It's a very crowded picture. I've been continually adding to it over the. I should add in like Kim from Disco Elysium probably. Something from Disco Elysium is definitely is worthy of being on there. Maybe someone from Last of Us. Give me a moment, actually. Let me think about this. Yeah, probably Kim from Disco. I should add Abigail from Stardew Valley. That would make a lot of sense. I also think I should add a Warframe other than Necro's Prime. I did make the image at a time when I was using Necros a hell of a lot, but there are frames, quite a lot of frames I like a lot more than Necros. I mean, it's actually play request. This is what makes the quest so long, so I start rambling about something else.
Oh, I see what you mean. Then let's swap.
Well, Paimon is a fan. A statue like this would look fantastic on a boat.
Wait, but we can't do that. Very few people would see the statue if we were to put it on a boat. This statue is meant to be placed in the town.
But then, since we're putting it in the town, the whole point of the pose would be lost.
Oh, okay. We'll try to think of something else.
You don't. Isn't that actually like genuinely a statue pose which has been done before? That's why I picked it. Is that not a common statue pose? You can make a statue of a boat. It's not that hard. Alright, fucking fine.
Imposing, huh? Oh, I've got it. Let's try this.
This pose! It makes me recall Sfina di Rosula's glorious golden age.
But isn't Clementine's pose a bit too bold and heroic? Was she really that kind of person? If we were to stick with this
Oh man,
pose,
I need to
maybe
make
people would wonder
Lumia an
if she
actual
was
playable
actually
fucking
the real
character.
boss behind the scenes.
Well, tabloids did indeed speculate as much back in the day, but the Spina pulled a few strings and made both the report and the journalist disappear.
Oh, Paimon was just kidding! Please don't make Paimon disappear.
Pyro Traveler should be interesting. Potentially. There's some parts of like Hydro Traveler's kit which are dangerously close to being competent. I feel like Hydro Traveler's kit would actually be good if it was just stronger, just better numbers. Also, even like Animo Traveler has potential as well. The Animo Traveler is one I would want to use the most because it's the actual kit I like the most. I believe people say that the strongest is Dendro, followed by Geo, followed by Electro, followed by Animo, followed by Hydro. I think people do say Hydro's the worst one, just because it's still not worth using, but then it has the extra downside of, for the skill, you need to stay on it for ages, and you lose health. I liked that kit when I first saw it, but yeah, I haven't used it at all since. It's kind of just funny to have a fucking water gun. Oh yeah. I was just thinking about it, because people say that, oh, the Traveller has a miniaturized version of the Archon's kit. Well, I realised that's totally true for Venti and John Lee. It's half true for A. No, it's not half true, it is fully true. They both have energy restoration and coordinated attacks. So yeah, it is pretty accurate for A, and for Nahida's one where it definitely falters the most. She does donate EM, but a lot of Dendro characters do that. Well, it's definitely some. I think more Dendro characters than any other character, or other element, but other than the EM donation, and the fact that the burst benefits from different elements infused into it, there really isn't any link to Nahida there. There's something. And yeah, for the Hydro Traveler, the interesting thing they did is that it doesn't parallel Farina's kit at all. It parallels Nervalet's kit. Both of them fire a water beam. Granted, Nervalet's is much, much stronger, and then their burst is AoE Hydro. That's an interesting thing. If I am correct with my hopes of Pyro Archon being a healer and sub DPS, which just makes sense. It just makes sense for them to be. That's one thing we don't have for an Archon yet, is a healer. Farina doesn't fucking count. We have a shielder, we have a grouper, we have a damage buffer, we have a main DPS, and energy restorer. The one thing we're missing is a healer. So that really is what we should do for the next one. Or just fucking say that Bennett's a Pyro Archon, I don't care.
What Florent meant was that we asked the journalist to choose a new alias. You're right, though, that this may not accurately represent the image of her in our hearts. Let's try to come up with something else. A happy pose? You mean something like we were laughing together at a funny joke?
Would all that be able to come through with just a picture?
Would we even be able to tell what they are supposed to be laughing about?
Yeah, and that'd probably be a massive pain to sculpt as well.
Could one of you try striking a pose like you're talking while the other one laughs?
This is an awful idea.
That actually sounds pretty hard to pull off. Forget it, let's try something else. We tried a bunch of different ideas, but none of them felt right. Paimon's all out of brain juice now, too.
Oh, don't worry. We still got a lot of reference shots out of the session, and each of them can be considered to be a souvenir in their own right. Let's just keep the ideas we tried as backups. Man, if I knew I was going to do a photo shoot with the Traveler, I would have prepared a lot of outfits and props ahead of time. Oh, outfits! Oh, that's the errand I forgot back in the city. Do either of you still remember that girl? The girl I went to see with you two. Her name is Adele.
Oh, Paimon remembers her. She was the one that we met while investigating Mr. Callus's case, right?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. So, after the case, she was finally willing to talk to me, and she told me that she wanted to join the Spina too. I said that it's fine, but young children are not allowed to join the Spina. She will just have to wait a few years, and then we'll welcome her with open arms. Since she's still a child, though, she thought I was just trying to let her down gently. But how could I get her to believe that I meant what I said? In the end, I came up with an idea. I'd have a Spina uniform made and give it to her as a gift. But I got so busy and distracted in the city that I forgot to pick the uniform up. So I did forget something important after all.
Don't worry, boss. I can send someone to pick it up right away.
On the matter of the statue, we should still come up with a few more ideas for the design. I'll have to trouble you to source some for me.
We could have just done that from the start. Yeah, you're right. They'll have some value as souvenirs at least.
Navia! Florent, guess who's back?
Huh? But aren't you supposed to...
Oh, well, if it isn't Coulter. Back already from the Fortress of Meripede?
That's right. I finally finished serving my time. Gotta say, turns out I was a lot tougher than I thought. After I got out, I immediately made a beeline back to Poisson. You could say that familiar, briny smell became a primal call, urging me to forget everything else and just come back home.
Shut the fuck up, I already hate you.
Miss Melissa's grilled fish. I dreamed about it.
It's good
Shut
to have you back, Coulter. You look as well as ever.
And this guy is...
The villain of a
Let
quest.
me introduce you. This is Coulter, another of Spina di Rosula's members. He was found guilty and sentenced to the Fortress of Meripede some time ago. But, looking at it now, it was probably another one of Marcel's plots while he worked at the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Wait, Mr. Marcel? What do you mean? He was involved in some sort of plot?
Have you not heard anything at all about the water from the primordial sea case?
Well, I know that Fontaine got flooded, but then the water levels miraculously receded. I thought that was all there was to it and didn't care to ask for any more details. Do you mean Mr. Marcel was somehow involved with all that?
Oh, looks like we'll have to explain everything from the top. That case, a lot of things have happened in Poisson since then. First things first, let me introduce you to these two. They're my most trusted partners, and they've been with me through thick and thin. Now you could call them Spina di Rosula's VIP helpers.
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't recall Navia ever generously complimenting anyone like that before. So you must be pretty amazing to get that from her.
Yeah, we are indeed pretty amazing. But we've been cool since before we even met her.
Humble again as always, I see. Even when I was totally sincere with my praise.
Nice. Spina di Rosula always seems to attract great people. Oh, that reminds me. Where are Malus and Silver? Aren't they always by your side?
About that.
Coulter, a lot of things happened while you were gone. As you can see, even Poisson isn't quite the same as how it was before you left.
They lost their lives, keeping me safe during the flood.
What did you say? This isn't some kind of morbid welcome home prank, right?
I'm sorry.
Shut the fuck up, a
It's
stupid
the
line.
truth.
I'm not listening to that.
They weren't the only people we lost either. Many others, including Melissa, also lost their lives in the disaster.
Luce and Melissa, dead. They're just gone? Luce, I was planning to give him a surprise gift once I ran into him again in town.
Maybe this guy
I
isn't
can't
villain.
believe it.
He doesn't seem villainous enough anymore.
Hey, keep it together.
Malus and Coulter were friends for many years, and even served on many missions together during the early days of the Spina. I can understand how he feels.
I do. Ray treats Malus and Silver actually pretty damn well in the story. They are characters. I do actually miss them. They were really fucking cool. They had some really good swagger. Killing them off was actually a really interesting choice. The entire fandom fucking loved them, and they treated their characters well in their death, and even now they do treat their deaths pretty well. I like that is one character death which is of consequence, but it's not like it's a massive consequence. It has no bearing on the plot at all. It's just a interesting development for Navia's character. So it doesn't fix the character death problem previously mentioned.
Oh, let's sit down somewhere, so I can tell you everything that has happened while you were gone. Fair warning, there was a lot.
I've been watching Better Call Saul retrospectives constantly. It's made me appreciate the latter seasons more. It's a thing, like, in my first watch of Breaking Bad, I say my first watch, I haven't watched it again since. I've only been watching it through retrospectives. At first, I thought Breaking Bad's first half was a weaker half and the second half was better. Though disconnected, like season 5 is very disconnected from everything that came before, that's kind of just a fact. And I thought the opposite was true for Better Call Saul. I thought seasons 1 to 3 were way better than seasons 4 to 6, which I think is a very uncommon view. I think most people don't like seasons 1 to 3 as much. No, a variety of reasons, and I'll definitely give both of the sides which I didn't like as much. I give them more credit now. I still think seasons 1 to 3 of Better Call Saul are better than 4 to 6, and vice versa. There's definitely some aspects I didn't appreciate as much before. I still don't think Gus Fring is a good villain though. Oh, no, I do think he is a good villain. I don't get how some people call him the best villain on telly, because he's just, to me, doesn't even approach it. Well, I don't know who I would say is better than him, but I wouldn't say
it's unbelievable. I can't believe that those stories were real. It all really
I think by far the best thing about Gus Fring is Giancarlo Esposito's performance. There are many things about the character himself that is really disappointing to me. Mainly, Fring doesn't intimidate me whatsoever. At all. Never. He has never been intimidating to me. In fact, he's laughable. He's the opposite of intimidating. Because Fring is constantly fucking up. Throughout the entirety of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he basically never does anything right. A good example is major spoilers. major spoilers here for Better Call Saul. When he sends a hitman after Lalo, and all of the fucking hitmen get themselves killed, and the only people they manage to kill are the defenseless family members that Lalo has there. That scene, obviously, Fring is only involved because he sent those assassins there, but it still reflects really fucking badly on Fring that he sent these guys and was like, these guys are going to get the job done. And they didn't even get close. They were beyond incompetent. And it just reflects really badly on Fring's judgment. And another part is Fring killing Victor in, what was it, Breaking Bad Season 4, Episode 1? I don't remember. Yeah, it is Season 4. Season 2 is Jane, Season 3 ends with, Gail. Yes, the Season 4, Episode 1, Boxcar. When Gus kills Victor. Obviously, some people say it's to show that no one is indispensable, blah, blah, blah. On first viewing, there's no other way to see it other than typical villain kills their own guy trope. And also they say that, oh yeah, some people say, oh yeah, well Victor was seen there. As if that has any fucking weighting. The characters in both shows really don't care where they're seen. A lot of the time. And so I do not think it's applicable in that case. It really does just come off as generic villain, but I thought Gus Fring was a way more interesting character if he was as genuine as his actual fake persona is. I think he was a much more interesting character when it seemed like he genuinely didn't want his dealers to use kids in their operations, and when he agrees with Jesse on that. I thought that was way more interesting, but no, it's revealed it's the exact same as major spoilers for Persona 5. It's the exact same as the Ketchi's reveal, where having a character propose an ideological threat to characters can often be a lot more interesting than a physical threat. Because I think it's basically a universal agreement on Akechi, at least, that once that happens in Persona 5, he's a lot of Akechi's way as a character is lost. And it's because he shifts from being an ideological villain to immediately completely dismissing the ideological vision persona entirely by saying it was fake. That's the exact same thing Fring does, by just showing that his persona is fake. And then he just becomes a I'm gonna kill you villain. And it becomes very one note. And obviously, the only reason why Breaking Bad can get away with that is because they're really good at making a tense situation. If Breaking Bad was not as well directed and you didn't care so much for Walter and Jesse, season 4 of Breaking Bad would have been fucking awful. It would have been by doing that with Gus. And so I've never thought Gus was a really good villain. And of course, again, the way he dies is pretty fucking stupid as well. But it's in character. But it's in character of him being fucking incompetent to me. I do think Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. I think I do. But the thing is, Breaking Bad, unfortunately, because I way prefer Breaking Bad's ending to Better Call Saul's. Let's play with
I think
Genshin
you and
Impact.
I both feel the same way about the profound tragedy of Melusa's loss. And the sheer depravity of Marcel's actions.
I thought Mr. Marcel would always stand by the Spina. Everything he had, the Spina gave to him. It's unconscionable to have received all that,
Actually, I need to go
and yet
take a
still
shit.
plot to kidnap and dissolve you for his insane research.
The good news is that the Confrérie of Cabriere is no more. Gone with them too is the entire synth manufacturing and distribution network. We finally closed the curtain on that long struggle.
Are you sure? But if Marcel wanted to rebel against us, he probably sent word in secret to Romeu.
Romu?
Not a name I've heard before either.
Florent should remember him. You see, there was once a major internal dispute regarding... Romeu was the leader of the faction that thought such a vast sum of more... But Mr. Callis believed that an opportunity to collaborate with the Court of Fontaine and the Fontaine Research Institute was hard to come. Not only would the Aquabus be a good business investment, it would also boost our reputation among... But the two couldn't come to an agreement. Romeu ended up taking a lot of people with him when he left Spino di Rosula
Ugh. And with Papa's stubbornness, I can definitely imagine how it must have gone down.
And of course, when he was suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous injustice, those relationships that he spent a fortune to build didn't help in the least.
Yeah, you could say it was the price he paid for
Oh, that's a good point. If Callis was really as stubborn as you say, then wouldn't he have argued with the rank and file all the time?
Oh, yeah. It eventually became a thing that just happened on every day that ended with Y. He used to be a lot better with taking counsel, with him listening to our advice and Ms. But on the matter of the Aquabus, even Ms. Clementine completely...
I never knew. But from my perspective...
I think the Aquabus was just the straw that broke the camel's back. On that topic, they believed that Miss Clementine lost her ability to serve as an impartial
So, they thought she had betrayed them? But that doesn't make any sense. Before she was their mediator, my mother was also her own person, and a member of the Spina. She should have the right to take any side she wished.
Yeah, but to them, even taking a side was betrayal enough. They felt like their voices could no longer be heard once their sole mediator had gone over to the other side. Of course, Ms. Clementine then passed away, and Mr. Callis began to regard the completion of the Aquabus project as her final wish. With that, the last hope of reconciliation was gone.
So that's what happened.
From that point on, Romeu and his people cut ties with the Spina. Perhaps they've regarded us as enemies ever since they left. But
I've also heard that they aren't in a good financial position, so they've been lying low for a...
I think Coulter's got a point. Both Marcel and Romeu had my father in their sights for a very long time. Even though Marcel's faction has been dissolved, we still don't know anything about Romeu's whereabouts. If they're still trying to get revenge on us, with how distracted and vulnerable we are, now would be the best time.
good thinking, boss. We should keep an eye on them at all times. I'll let my men know right away.
Thank you for that, Florent. And Coulter, thank you for telling me about this as well.
Don't worry, it's nothing. I've heard so many incredulous things today. I'm fine.
In that case, why don't we go back to the court? I can pick up Adele's uniform while we're there as well. Want to come with me again, you two? You don't mind, do you, Coulter?
Of course.
Then let's go! Paimon feels like a lot's hinging on this visit.
We really are the best of partners. Come on, let's
Shut
go.
up. Stop saying that. Straight in help. The 500 more writing tenets. I don't mean to say Better Call Saul Season 6 is not great, by the way. Better Call Saul Season 6 is obviously fucking brilliant. But it does have, to me, some really big failings in really important moments. Like, the ending of Better Call Saul, to me, is really good for Jimmy, but I do not think it's a good ending for a show thematically. I think they resolved Saul Goodman's character very well, but they didn't resolve the rest of the show's themes very well. In fact, I think some of them really fucking badly. And I'm not a fan of how the show feels like it completely absolves Kim of any guilt for being the main villain of season 6.
I see everything.
Like, my problems with season 6, Lalo's death, a lot of that sequence is so fucking good, but unfortunately it's all leading up to Lalo's death, and Lalo's death itself is really underwhelming. So that kind of makes that entire arc, almost makes it fall flat. And again, the actual ending for the show's themes I don't think is good. Nacho's characters have very little consequence to the plot. And like, once Nacho dies, he isn't mentioned like ever again. There's one scene where his dad is brought back, but that's it. His death feels really inconsequential, and they could make a point of that, but they don't make a point of that.
Are we not taking the boat this time?
It's nice to walk from time to time, isn't it? Think of it as something like a hiking trip. Once we're there, we can stay a few days before we return.
Sounds good. I haven't walked this road in a long time.
Yep.
Both
we've walked
Breaking Bad
far
and Better
enough
Call
for
Saul have
now.
been living rent-free in
Let's
my
take a
head
break.
since I watched them.
Since we're out for a walk, we shouldn't stress too much about the destination.
I've grown old, so I'm not as fit as before. It's a good thing that at least my work...
Well, Paimon thinks you're doing great. We didn't have...
Back in the days before the aquabus lines were built, we often had to hike... Malus and I must have traveled this way hundreds of times. When we were tired, we would lay down for a while, and the Spina was still on the rise back then. Mr. Callis was generous, and everyone had the chance to... And now, in the blink of an eye... Oh, I know. I would...
Then let's stay here a bit longer. Anyone want snacks?
Oh, is this another chance to try some of Navia's macarons? Paimon's been dreaming of them.
Yep, I figured you wouldn't say no to a few more. Oh, wait. Let me check if I have all the ingredients. Malus and Silver used to take care of tasks like this. Okay, the stove's looking good. And as for the ingredients,
The
seems
imaginary
like we're all
fucking
out of
stove.
flour and sugar. The two most important ingredients of all.
When you fire the people that make... right, joke's falling flat. It can't be that hard to... wherever.
Oh, would you? Oh, but it would be too much to ask you to go on a trip just for those.
We should contribute to making the macaron too. Don't worry, we cook out in the wild all the time, so she should have some stuff on hand.
Oh, that's great. Then I'll leave the ingredient gathering to you. As long as we have some sweet flours and wheat, I can start the baking.
Then I'll go look for some boxes nearby for a makeshift table and chairs.
Great. Then I'll prep the stove. Let's get to work, everyone. Ah, how did it go? You've all done your part. Just leave the rest to me.
Whoa, these macarons look and taste magnificent! Your cooking is as good as ever, Navia.
Boss's baking skills have always been famous. Everyone in the Spina knows how exceptionally talented she is.
Oh, it's just a hobby. There's no need to praise me for it like that.
Have you two seriously never considered joining us? You're so close to the boss, and she obviously trusts you with all her heart. Was it that obvious?
You just happened to walk in on our little reunion. It's actually been quite a while since we last spent time together.
I like Navia as a character, but she's a little bit... She's a bit one note to me. She's like, oh, here's a bunch of happy lines, and oh, here's a sad line. Here's a bunch of happy lines. Here's a little sad line. Oh, happy lines. Her like character writing is a little bit too predictable for me to like her too much.
Adventurers never stay in one place for long. The name of Spina di Rosula would just tie them down. Besides, after everything we've been through together, I'm sure our hearts would remain intertwined even if we found ourselves on opposite sides of the world.
Even if Paimon was far beyond the horizon, she'd still remember the delicious taste of Navia's macaron.
I understand now. Then I am very lucky indeed to have been graced with the chance to meet the two of you. I will endeavor to make the most of this short yet fortuitous encounter, and enjoy every moment we spend together.
We've got no wine with us, but let's still toast with water, in celebration of this moment.
Cheers! Hey, what are you doing? Quick, join in on the toast!
May your travels go smoothly, may the Spina continue to grow, and may our friendship last until the end of time. All set? Let's move out then. I asked some old acquaintances in town to make Adele's uniform, so we should be able to pick it up right away.
Motherfucker! I had a perfect pose. I think it was in the perfect fucking pose, but for some reason the game didn't let me take a picture of it when I pressed it. I had to press it twice. You fucked. It's still an okay picture though. That's probably actually a little bit, yeah. Getting this before I forget. And actually, another thing, I'll spend my visit real quick because I wanted to talk about my investment spending right now. How many wishes I got? 2, just 2. What was I? Okay, yeah. Currently, I'm spending my resin in this domain. This is Tartaglia's domain. Who the fuck likes Veruca's Glow? I'm in this domain for Veruca's Glow for, Nilu. And it's my placeholder Nilu. I either need a HP Sands or a HP Circuit. That's it. I borrowed this and this off of Layla, because I don't think I'll be using Layla, like, ever. And if I do use her, I won't be using her at the same time as Nilu, so they can share artifacts. But I'm only running this domain until I get a HP Sands or a HP Circuit. Let me actually check it hasn't happened yet. Yeah, defense Sands. There is a... oh, no there isn't. There is a 4-star with HP here, yeah. But no, I want my Neo to perform really well. Of course, this is Tartaglia's domain as well. Are there any characters which actually like the 4-piece of this? Elemental skill and elemental burst damage will be increased by 10%. I mean, that is a decent buff immediately there. After you take damage, it increases by 80%, so it's 18%. This effect increase can have a maximum of 5 stacks, so that's 40%, so it's 50%. This is weird. Interesting. This almost feels like it was made for Farina. Could this be used on like a future character? Who the fuck would actually use this was in the game at the time? Who would use that? That was in the game in Sumeru. This is very clearly like a Fontaine artifact, and even then it's not that great for Fontaine because it's still on burst. Who the fuck is this for? It's not for Zhao. Could it be for Zhao? Zhao wouldn't like a 2-piece, and his burst is normal attack damage. Yes, who the fuck is this for? And it's definitely not for Huta. There's no character in the game up to this point that would like that Cookie Shinobu. Up to that point, the only characters in the game that lost health with casts was Cookie Shinobu and Hutao. It's fucking weird. Why does this set even exist? I'm glad it exists. We can have double 2-piece HP, but that 4-piece is a strong effect, but the way of triggering it makes it far too niche. And this is literally just Tartaglia. Could you make this work for another? Yeah, you totally could. Yes, you only need 3 stacks. Oh, well, of course it gives attack percent, so yeah, it's not as worth. But I'm unfortunately at a point where I do not intend to ever use Tartaglia. Is my Ryzen on Hyper Bloom? Yes. Unfortunately, I'm never going to use Tartaglia. I never am. I think he really has to be power crept by Noblet, which is a shame, but I can't really say I'm upset about that fact.
There is no escape.
I don't mind Noblet power creeping.
Illusion shattered.
Yoo-hoo! Committed to memory.
So I'm running this domain for Nilu. Once I get the HP Sands or Circlet, I'm done here. I don't care for getting Tartaglia artifacts anymore. Once I build Nilu, once I have that Nilu artifact in place, my next move is either building up my Raiden Hypercarry team, which just means continually farming Emblem. It means farming Emblem set for Raiden and for Zhangling. Also, I want to get Viridescent Venera for Venti and Jean. Though they both already have sets they can use, they're not good sets for them. I think Jean has a healing bonus, attack, ER on her. I know people say to stack her full with Elemental Mastery, but I want the attack for the healing.
Osmanthus Wild.
Obviously Zhangling's not a great artifact that she has. So there's room for improvement with them.
Stabilize. There is no escape.
Strike a pose! Let the world collide!
Inazuma shines eternal.
Whoa, okay.
Illusion shattered.
I see everything!
Shine down.
Roll! Yeah!
Solidify.
Let's play Prelude.
But once the other option, I didn't even go with the other option. The HP, ER, attack, and crit rate. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Right, it's in fact basically exactly what I wanted. Okay, Rooch's Glow, HP Sands, and Nilu does like ER because of her burst. It is a good burst, so you want to deal damage. So therefore, we do definitely want some crit rate. So I mean, it's more than nothing. And for this, we just need this to be HP percent. Do I happen to have a HP percent with like crit rate, crit damage, and ER? And it has HP flat on it as well. Yes, that's really good. She does not need EM. She's never really going to be triggering any blooms. Or hopefully fucking not. There you go. So HP, HP, HP. So these combined, each of these give a maximum level 46.6%. Nilu gets like 14,000, over 14,000 HP. I'm gonna just do some maths, right? Nilu needs 30,000 HP, right? Above 30,000, right. Okay, so every point above 30,000, right. So it's 46.6 times by 3, that's 139, plus another 40 from our two-piece set bonus. And I think she also gets 26% from Ascension. I'm not 100% sure on that though, so instead I'll just go with 20% from Ascension. And then we also have 80% from substats, which are on everything. If it's not HP main stat, I have HP% as a substat. which is jolly good. I'm not going to factor those in, just underestimate, because that always makes you feel better when it's better than I was hoping for. Okay, and so on top of that, we're going to get 4,700. Okay, so 200%. Okay, so 14,000 times 3. That gets us 42,000 HP. Okay. Plus 4,780. 46,780. Ooh. And of course, that's with a slight underestimation. It's not counting the substats, it's underestimating her ascension bonus. It's assuming I won't have a HP percent sword. I am considering getting her weapon. If I have wishes to get her weapon, I will try for it. If I don't, then I don't get it, because it's not a very valuable weapon. Unfortunately, obviously, like, not a lot of characters scale with HP, so at least not right now. Clevend, maybe. But yeah, if I got her sword, it would only be going for her. So it might be a little bit too put my eggs in one basket. We have 46,000 HP, and that's an underestimation by a decent bit. We can absolutely have several thousand more. So each 1,000 over 30 is an extra 9% damage, I think it was. We have 16,000, so 9 times 16, 144. That's... Oh. Okay, I don't know how that multiplier applies. I really hope it's a final damage multiplier. If it's not, if it's like a extra elemental mastery multiplier, that's actually kind of gonna suck. I don't know if that truly would be worth using. But if it is a final damage multiplier, that's really good. It's really nice. Because Bloom should already be dealing about 30,000 damage with a build I'm anticipating having. Nice. Okay. With my other consideration was building up my Noelle team. Noelle, Yunjin, Goro, Farina. Noelle already has a pretty good artifact set. Crit damage with attack and defense substats. Crit rate, crit damage, defense. Attack, defense, crit damage. Defense, crit rate, attack. Crit rate, attack, crit damage. So I feel like this is a really good Noelle set, actually. She already has 101 crit damage, and none of these artifacts are upgraded. Well, some of them are a little bit. Yeah, actually, some of them are a little bit. All of them are a little bit. But that's a really good crit split so far, I think. I'm really happy with that, so I actually feel like Noelle herself is going to have good stats. And for Yunjin and Goro, all we need is just really good defense, right? Of course, I haven't played with them before, so I don't know for 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's all they want. Also ER, because they need to use their bursts often to be valuable. And Farina's, of course, already built. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of grinding to ascend every character, also level up each character, and when we have 2 characters, it shouldn't be hard to get with desirable artifacts, but it will still be a process. It'll probably still take best part of a week each, at least. Because I probably don't care to make the team like the best it possibly could be. It's never going to outperform like the other teams. It's not going to outperform Novelette or anything, so there's no point trying to make it outperform, unless I'm fucking bored. Don't have anything better to do. But yeah, that's the team I really want to go for. But yeah, it would be a big undertaking. Now that we have Nilu secured though, and I already have the resources from Nilu's boss, so I can take her straight to level 90. Or maybe not to level 90, but to maximum ascension. I already have them all saved up for whenever she drops. And Ayaka, whenever she comes back around, I can take her to level 80. Here you guys spawn.
Illusion shattered.
I think I'll just save this resin for now and condense it. Nowadays, what I do is I only condense up to 3 pieces, because of course I start uni again on Monday. Not condensing, having the ability to condense 2 resin the first thing after I wake up in the morning is really good for me. That's what I typically do nowadays, so I hover around 3 condensed resin, and so then if I wake up and I don't have time to spend the resin, I can just condense it and be done with it for the day, and I know that there's no resin wasted. Oh, and of course, Nilu's going to have Hydro Resonance as well. Buffing her. See, I really wish we could go into Lenny's house and say hello. And whose house is this? Like, who gets to live opposite Lenny and Lynette? Because I feel like that would be a pretty big deal to live opposite them. Oh, their house have like a nice little outside area as well. What's the point of this? Fontaine architecture is really interesting. Like, why isn't there just a balcony? And who's living up here? Why do they have this? Right, yeah, why do they have this? What is this for? This is Lenny and Lynette's house. What? Why do they have a bridge connecting their houses? Who is this? Who lives in this house? Who lives in this house, and why do they have a bridge which leads directly into Lenny and Lynette's house? Okay, sure.
Hey there, Ludovine. How's business lately?
The Demoiselle of Spina de Rosula. I must say, your generous patronage is the one thing keeping me from going bankrupt.
Nonsense. We all know what a talented business...
My mistake, my mistake. Are you here for the uniform?
Yep. I forgot to drop by earlier when I was running errands around here.
I didn't expect Demoiselle to come and pick it up in person. It's just a uniform after all. Any of your folks could have come instead.
Navia's always liked to take even small things seriously.
Hey, that's not the only reason I'm here. We mostly just needed a walk to clear our heads. There are few things more uplifting than taking the first step on a new journey.
Boss has got a point. Going on a trip with friends is always better than staying cooped up at home.
Very well. Please, wait here while I retrieve the uniform for you.
Can someone remind Paimon again why Adele wants to join the Spina?
She hasn't given me any concrete reasons. All she says is that she
I
really looks up
I
to me.
wish Genshin devs were more willing to reinvest the money they make from game into it. Obviously, Genshin does. It is worth a lot of money. You can't pump out updates like this with full voice acting and everything this often without having a lot of money. The Genshin production line must be fucking crazy. probably is a little bit stressful for devs, I imagine, having probably a lot of deadlines. But also, I imagine that's why you should work things out months in advance. I feel like you should have, for Genshin to be sustainable and not really fucking bad for devs to work on it, I feel like they should have everything. They probably do make sure they have everything ready to go months in advance at least. But I just wish that there's a lot of easy ways to make Genshin's world even more compelling in a really powerful way, which they just don't harness. I think because of a production line, probably. I think it may not be a problem you can just throw money at. It might be the simple production line of having updates this often just doesn't allow for it to happen. I think it'd be cool if we had a what's it called? There's like an update health or something kind of thing, which a bunch of games started doing after Rainbow Six or whatever, where they do updates like dedicated to quality of life stuff. Maybe Genshin could do something like that. And as well as just quality of life features, give us a 4-star character epitomized path. Give us an endgame of the abyss. Artifact loadouts, artifact pity of some kind. I think a really easy change we could do, which would make me way happier with artifacts as a whole, would be to simply make it so that artifacts are not shared between characters. And so what by that I mean is that my catching, I forgot to show off my catching, fuck. My catching and my Raiden and my Fischl and my Yai can all use the same electro damage goblet I have, which is really fucking good, all at the same time. And so I didn't have to swap it between them. I could even have them on the same team at once, all of them using it. I feel like that would be an instant, massive improvement. You don't need to do anything to improve Artifact's pity, but make it so once you have one really good artifact, you can just, as long as the set works, you can just equip on all of your characters. That would dramatically reduce grind. That's like what DVD did with the prestige perks. That was a really good change. Of course, though a limited change, because it only improved value if you used lots more characters. But let's not get into DVD. I feel like doing something like that for Genshin would be really good. And by like world change, I mean like having it so that you see characters in the world, you have events which randomly happen in the game world or something as you're just wandering around. Stuff like that would be so cool, make the world feel so much more alive. Like if every time you walked past Lena and Let's house, there was a chance that one of them would be outside. If Rena would be outside. What if you could climb on top of Raiden's house and then she'd be fucking waiting there for you? And you could have a chat with her. What if John Lee showed up in Liyue Harbor one day and you could say, "Hello, John Lee"? What if when you went into fucking, God forbid, you went into the bar in Mondstadt and Venti was there? And of course, to have player incentive to interact with these, you could reward 20 Prima Gems per discussion or something. Nothing too massive. That wouldn't be very hard to do, and it would massively help the game. Just feel a lot more alive. Hi, me, Genshin. Do it.
After we cleared her father's name, she became a lot more cheerful and outgoing. It's probably because she now knows for sure that her father was never a bad person. She said she used to be terrified of Papa, so as a result, she found all the rest of the Spina super scary as well. But the Spina is very different now. she mustered up the courage to talk to me, and felt like I could really understand her. Yeah, you could say that. By uncovering the truth about the case, I was able to give her closure at the same time. She said that she wanted to become someone like me. Someone who could lend a hand to others, instead of standing still and waiting for others to help her.
From the sound of it, she'll be a wonderful addition to the Spina.
I think so too. But for now, let's focus on giving her a great atmosphere to grow and thrive. She can commit to us once she's older, and can really make that decision for herself.
Is something up, Traveler? Huh? Tailing? Oh, Paimon's coming.
I'll go check it out too. Coulter, please hold on to this for me.
All right.
Is Coulter not gonna be fiscal and fuck? I seem like an idiot now.
Stop right there!
Stop right there, criminal scum. We collected Angler.
We knew you were going to be difficult!
Seems like if we want them to talk, we're gonna need to teach
That
them a
one's fat.
lesson first.
Brothers, there's no need to skulk in the dark anymore. Let's take them out!
Navia demo time. I already know her kit. Oh, that's some chunky health bar. Noblesse, really. Fucking axe is so cool. Something a lot of people have been talking about with Navia is that she's so good with so little investment, which would make it appeal a lot to me. But when I trialed her in one of the recent events, I just didn't like playing her. The combat event for the film festival, there was a trial there where you got to trial as her. I didn't like her. I really didn't. Her rotation skills just felt chaotic. Like one of the reasons why I like playing as Hu Tao so much. So Hu Tao's rotation,
Silly
it really just works, right? You use John Lee's shield, then Xingqiu burst. No. Yes? No. There's several ways to do it. That's part of why it's great. Either use Xingqiu's skill twice, until his burst is up, then use his burst and switch to another character. Or, what I sometimes do, what I think I do most of the time, is I burst first, and then I hit them with a normal attack, and then use my skill. So it means he loses like a second or two of his burst, which is fine. It's one of the longest bursts in the game. And then I switch to Yalan's skill burst, and then switch to Hu Tao, and then your DPS. And then at the end of Hu Tao's DPS rotation, you have a choice. Do you use her burst, or do you stop? Do you retreat, or do you continue normal attacking to make the most out of Xingqiu and Yalan's burst? It's just a really organic rotation, which I really love. Novelette's themes is a little bit more chaotic, but I still like it. It's first thing is Rena skill burst, then Charlotte skill normal attack, and if HP has already been lowered to half, use burst. If it hasn't, leave it as is. Then the enemies will be frozen, switch to Kazuma, hold skill, and then burst. And then Novelette, skill burst. Depending on the situation, switch to another character and then switch immediately right back just to reset his 5 seconds rotation thing, and then never let skill run down for the rest of the rotation. I made it sound a lot more complicated than it is. And for this team, it's very, very fucking simple with rotation. Just use their skills, and then just don't let the shield go down. You don't even have to attack, you can just walk around and just dodge attacks. But for Navia, her rotations did not feel like that when I was playing her. It could have just been bad Steam composition, but it didn't feel like that. But yeah, so it's use her skill, get a Geo Infusion. Righty.
Stabilize!
There is no escape!
Strike a pose! Feeling lucky?
That guy went. Yeah, bye. Take it.
Now, talk. Who are you? And why were you tailing us?
I still didn't check Getching's artifacts.
Don't think we'll let you off easy if you keep silent.
How did it go, boss? Are any of you hurt?
If you thought they stood any chance against us, you were sorely mistaken. Anyway, stop playing tough and start talking. There won't be any room for negotiation once the Maison Gardiennage gets involved.
We're looking to get vengeance on Spina di Rosula. We were discovered, and can't beat you in a fight. We admit it. We lost.
Get revenge? Wait, you're
Why
not
do you have
Romeu's
yellow
followers,
eyes?
are you?
You actually know that name?
What a
But if you
coincidence!
do, then
The
surely
guy
you
we
should
just got
understand why
exhibitioned
we hate
about
you so much.
coming for revenge.
Indeed. You haven't got the faintest hope of winning right now.
We were out drinking when we saw Navia. We got so angry we decided to follow you guys and look for an opportunity to really mess up your day. Too bad you guys messed up ours first. Huh? You're pretty sharp, but so what? We didn't do anything. And now it should be pretty obvious that we can't do anything to you anyway. Seeing you like that just really ticked us off.
Listen, Callus is long dead. No matter what happened in the past, I want to be able to start things anew. I am the current president of Spina di Rosula. If your boss wants to talk with
Do
me,
the
I'd be happy
lead
to meet
character
with
design
him.
artist again
I
have an
won't
arm
press
pick?
charges for your
I
attack.
feel like I do.
That should also help demonstrate my sincerity.
No, that is
I
pretty
understand.
based, but like,
Thank
god
you.
damn, you can sense
I'll
that
let our boss know.
it
But
is
if you so
bleeding off
much
the
as
screen.
think about pulling something like this again, I won't be so lenient next time. Understood?
All right. We get it. Come on, let's go.
Are you
So
sure it's okay?
Lumine
Just let
and
them go
Navia
with that,
basically have the
Navia?
same outfit.
I don't want to inherit my father's grudges, too. Moreover, when it comes to the Aquabus, I don't think what my father did was entirely correct either. If the other side is willing to talk, I'm happy to open the door for a reconciliation. Opportunities for new beginnings are all around us.
I support Boss's decision as well. The concept of an eye for an eye is a primitive practice that has no place in today's Spina di Rosula.
Yes. Plus, we already know that they're strapped for cash. If their financial situation is that dire, they don't have what it takes to challenge us. So this may be the best time to talk. I still think we should keep an eye out for Romeo's folks, though. If he decides to ignore the warning I gave his men, then we could still have a fight on our hands.
Yeah, those guys definitely didn't look like big fans of yours.
I'd rather things not go that far, since, though we haven't talked to each other for years, once upon a time we were all a part of the
I really
Spina
want
di
to find a way to
Rosula
actually
family.
use Glamine in an
That's how
actual
I feel as
fucking
well.
team. Dendro Traveler's the
Anyway,
best chance of that,
Now that
but
we sent them packing,
I already
we don't have to worry about
have my
those
new
guys
team
anymore.
sorted out, most likely.
It's getting late already. So why don't we stay the night in the Fleuve Cendre? We can head back to Poisson tomorrow. I'll also ask someone to write Florent a letter and inform him of everything that happened here today, so he can increase security around Poisson and be on guard against any suspicious individuals.
No.
Do we have to stay in the Fleuve Cendre again? Even the pillows there smell like seaweed.
Sorry, that's just what happens when you live near water and don't get much sunlight. Poisson's pretty much the same though, so I've long since gotten used to it. We can still go out in the evening for some grilled fish and drinks though. Bet you there'll be people singing sea shanties too. How does that sound?
Huh. That does sound pretty cool. Okay, Paimon's on board now. Let's go. Paimon wants to sing too.
What is my current Nilu team? Is Zubair. Yeah, it has Xingqiu on it, of course. Right. See, Xingqiu probably wouldn't be on the final version of the team. He can be replaced with Farina, because this would be the AoE team slot, which means I wouldn't be using Farina in a Novelette team. On the other side, I'd be using Hu Tao. But because I'm using Hu Tao, that means I'm using Xingqiu with Hu Tao. So, yeah. So I'm increasingly leaning towards using Triple Hydro and just Nahida as a sole Dendro. Just for the reliability, less Dendro cores, but each one is more powerful. Because Nilu's Hydro application is surprisingly not all that good. Of course, my other consideration was using Novelette as a lead DPS. Because, yeah, in a team with... If we had if we had Novelette and Nilu as our Hydros, and then Nahida Yao Yao, we do not have enough healing. Fuck. I mean, maybe... maybe we do. No, I don't think that works. I shouldn't stress about this quite yet, because Nilu likely isn't going to run for another couple months. So I have plenty of time to figure it out. So what I could do, there's a couple options. Xingqiu has to go. Xingqiu can either be just replaced by Nidou and keep the team as it is, or we can replace Kokomi with Nidou and Xingqiu with Neuvillette. And so then that gives us Neuvillette as a really good damage dealer. And we have enough. We don't have enough healing though. That's going to be a problem. And I don't know if that team's Hydro application would outweigh the Dendro still. Neuvillette does apply a lot of Hydro, but it's not like a... It's not... It's definitely one of the best Hydro applications in the game, I think. But I still think Titavia is the best in Hydro application. Problem with Titavia though is he wants to be very close quarters, which means he'll be taking all of the brunt from his Dendro explosions, whereas Neuvillette will be from a distance. And of course Neuvillette has really strong self-healing. So Neuvillette would be really good at tanking Dendro explosions if he was up close because of his high health and self-healing, and otherwise he doesn't even need to get hit by them anyway because he can keep his distance. So it definitely is a little bit of a conundrum. Of course, the other option... So what would happen... I feel like if we had Nahida as our sole Dendro applicator and Neuvillette as our main DPS, I feel like we wouldn't get enough Dendro application. And after a while, Nahida would just stop making cores. So I don't think that would work. I feel like if you have a sole Dendro, the Dendro has to be with DPS. So we can't run Kokomi, Nilou, and Neuvillette. Well, we could, but Neuvillette wouldn't be contributing anything to the team the moment he went off-field. And we just use him just for his skill and burst, and then switch to Nahida, so... Also, honestly, thinking about it now, I kind of want to replace Yao Yao with Dendro Traveler, actually. Just because Yao Yao's healing isn't all that good. Yao Yao's healing isn't all that good. She does not work with Instructor Set. I've tested it. I cannot get Instructor Set to activate. I've yet to see it activate in all of these test runs I'm doing with her. So I think running Yao Yao to get Instructor Set to work is a bad idea. Whereas Dendro Traveler... Dendro Traveler wouldn't be an awful idea. Only lasts for 12 seconds. Three seconds, okay. So 15 seconds. It's the same as your Lance burst. It does have a hefty cost of 80. And she gives 60 elemental mastery, which is better than the nothing which Yao Yao gives. I just don't fucking know, man. I don't want to run Nilu as the main DPS.
Coming back here really does feel like this place is starting to grow
It'd
on
be
Paimon.
a way easier
If
problem
you
to
think
solve
about
if
it, it
Nilu
would
just
be
had
kind
like
of weird
good
if this
Hydra
famous
application, but
base
she
at the
doesn't.
court
Her
was
Hydra
some
application is
super
pretty
luxurious
damn
building
poor,
like the Palais
in my
Marmonia.
experience. Hell, I think I would
Totally.
say it's the worst
Right
Hydra
on the
application
money,
out of any
Paimon.
character I've played.
Although,
It
of
might
course,
be the worst
with
Hydra
the
application out of
continued
every
growth
character
of
in
the
the game,
Spina,
honestly.
Papa wanted Poisson
Which
to
really
eventually
sucks.
grow into a metropolis, not unlike the court. He was a
Which means
very
we need our
ambitious
Hydra
man
application to
who
outweigh
rarely
our
looked
Dendro
behind or
application
beneath
by a
him.
decent bit as
For
well,
better
just
or
to make
worse,
sure we don't
that
trigger
always
any
made him stand out
get
from
any
the crowd.
Hydra activations. We
And
want it
that's
to all be
also
Dendro
why people
activations.
hated him just as much as they loved him.
All right. Why don't you go wait for me at the restaurant? I'll go do some prep, and I'll get someone to tidy up your room while I'm at it. You can use the same room as last time. You still remember the room number, yeah?
Yep. Kinda hard to forget when there are only so many rooms here after all.
Oh, did I just hear someone taking a
Using
dig at
Nahida's
Flipsandra?
DPS also poses its own
Tell my
risks, and
guys to stuff
Nahida's a
your
very
pillows
squishy
full
character.
of actual seaweed right now.
Oh, Paimon, sorry! Please have mercy, Navia. If you do that, then Paimon really won't be able to sleep at all.
I was just kidding. Be on your way.
And of
now.
course, shorter counters like that are not as good at dodging stuff. I just shouldn't worry about this yet. I should wait until Navia actually drops to worry about it.
Hello? Are you asleep yet? Oh, no, not at all. I just figured that since we don't get to enjoy nights like these very often, we should try to enjoy it to the fullest. Wanna go fishing? I've got some rods and lures ready.
Oh, so that's the prep you were talking about. Sure, we'll come.
Hopefully I didn't wake you or anything. Don't worry, you don't have to do any actual fishing if you're too tired. Just think of it as keeping me company. How does that sound? Okay, let's go. To the fishing spot.
But I would really like to use Lamina and Seam just so we can actually use the fucking protagonist of the game. Hmm? Because in a hypothetical novelette team, I think Lamine would work well. Because she can just drop that burst and then after that switch into novelette. Ah, fuck, the elemental mastery boost wouldn't work on with it. Depends how big the AoE
What's
is.
the problem? Lots of people in Poisson use rods like these.
But shouldn't fishing be all about, you know, attentively watching the float?
Well,
and then
I can
excitedly
test it.
reeling in the catch when you finally hook something?
That's the thing, I can just do a bunch of testing around it
That's
once
one
they
way
release.
to enjoy fishing.
But I wouldn't want to
What do you
preemptively
think,
build it
Traveler?
out if it's not going to work.
Then, let's try regular rods next time. We can have a real fishing competition.
Honestly, Paimon's mainly shocked at how much energy you still have at this hour. Usually by this time of night, it's a struggle for Paimon to even keep her eyes open.
Huh.
What do you mean I'll be
Might
streaming
just
for
be
2
something
hours?
that runs in my family.
That's a thing?
What the fuck?
I'm
Just
sure
Saturday
you'd get
evening and I
even
go to uni
sleepier
on
if I
Monday.
delved more deeply into it. Anyway, I was just thinking about how grateful I am to my mother, as well as the rest of the Spina. My father always had a lot of unrealistic expectations for me. But the more that he tried to get me to become like him, the less I wanted to listen to what he had to say. My mother never had those kinds of expectations, though. I've heard that she had only one wish for me, which was that I would have a happy and secure childhood. All the members of the Spina greatly respected her wish, so no matter what I did as a child, they were happy to humor me. Can you imagine? Whenever my father wanted to scold me for something I'd done, everyone would form up into 2 rows and just stand silently and listen to him rant. Malus and Silver were always there too. No matter what Papa yelled, nobody else would say a word. Eventually, Papa must have recognized scolding me over trivial matters was pointless, because he eventually stopped getting on my case so often.
Paimon would have never guessed.
Yeah. Looking back on it now as an adult, I can hardly believe how patient and kind everyone was. When I was young, I often thought that I could do whatever I wanted, because there'd always be someone there to clean up after me. But once, I saw Malus come back wounded. He wouldn't tell me how he'd been injured, but I could tell it had something to do with me.
Also, slight problem with Novella is Nilu gives 100 elemental mastery if you get hit by one of the Dendro cores, but of course, because Novella would be attacking from a distance, that potentially wouldn't happen at all.
I learned then that there's always a cost to making a mistake. The more you care about those around you, the more you should care about doing the right thing to the best of your abilities. Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. And when that time comes, those most precious to you really will throw themselves in front of you and pay the price for your mistakes. Sorry. I shouldn't have brought that up. I wasn't planning to talk about sad things tonight. Basically, I was just saying that the nurturing atmosphere of the Spina must have been my mother's legacy, rather than my father's. And if that's the only way that I can continue to feel her love, then I'd like to pass that warmth on.
Is that why you let those guys go today?
Mm-hmm. Although, maybe there's a part of not wanting to repeat the mistakes of the past. I want to be reasonable, at least. Hey, look! I think you've got something on the line!
But why isn't the rod automatically reeling it in?
Oh, there must be something wrong with how I installed the mechanism. It was my first time putting one of those rods together. We can't let it get away. Come on, you two. Let's catch it.
You want Paimon to help too? You didn't attach a hook to your line?
That was
Stop
hilarious.
wasting time! The boss ain't gonna wait all day. We'll go ahead with the operation tomorrow. Do with that information as you wish.
Well, your rod was missing a part too, so I guess that makes it fair.
Well, if we're just talking about the number of missing parts, sure. Oh, never mind. Paimon really can't keep her eyes open anymore.
All right, go to bed. I had a great time today. See you tomorrow. So how was last night? Did you get a good night's sleep?
Paimon dreamt that she danced with the sea stars, so you could say it was a step.
Huh.
I didn't know you had such a great sense of humor.
See? This guy gets it!
Anyway, let's head out. I'll arrange for a boat to take us back to Poisson. I'm sure Adele will be happy to see you two again.
Paimon hopes she'll really appreciate your gift.
I hope so too.
Oh. Is that a decoration? Neat. I love those. This is my catching. 175 crit damage. She maybe has a little bit too much ER. But like, for the rest of her stats are really fucking good. She even has a little bit of EM, just a little bit. Just a little bit of EM there. Of course, she isn't supposed to need that much EM. It might be because my Fischl doesn't have much EM. I don't know how Aggravate works. Maybe Fischl should have more EM? And that would increase catching damage? Maybe? But I really feel like with these stats, I should be seeing better numbers than I see when I use her. Because the numbers I see when I use her are pretty bad. But she has damage numbers that fucking good. Yet Fischl, with this fucking circlet, is out damaging her.
I created
And with
another
this crit
universe.
split, that Fischl is out damaging her with those stats. It really does feel like catching stat. I just don't know. It just feels like she just doesn't fucking do damage. She just refuses to. And then I get Raiden, and then Raiden with half of the fucking crit damage is dealing 3 times as much damage as catching. Obviously, they have different rotations. Catching has a longer rotation than Raiden, in which she does damage for longer, but I just don't see it.
Adele, we're back! We brought you a gift from the court, too.
Whoa! Thank you so much, boss!
Don't call her boss, okay, Adele? Just Miss Navia would be fine.
Oh, it's all right. I don't mind. Besides the gift, I've also got another surprise. Guess who's here?
It's been a while!
Oh, it's you two. It has been a while indeed. Thank you so much for your help on Jacques' case. I've heard that you also helped save all of Fontaine. You're truly just like the great heroes of legend.
You're really amazing! And if Miss Navia's your friend, then she must be super amazing too! What's in this thing? Can I look?
Of course. Go ahead.
Oh, it's a Spina di Rosula uniform! Is it for me? But isn't it a bit big?
Well, it's a gift for future you. When you first told me that you were interested in joining the Spina, I was overjoyed. But it's the Spina's responsibility to protect everyone as well. Being a member means becoming involved in all kinds of dangerous situations. And since you're still young, I don't want your mom to have to worry about your safety. So I turned you down then by telling you that you'll have to wait until you're older. But this uniform is a promise that you
Now
can
you'd be
join us once you're old
fucking
enough to wear it.
mortified if they learned
So
how
that's
Mondstadt
it.
treats Klee.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Navia. I'll work hard and grow up as fast as I can.
Don't do that, kid.
But you can't
That's
really
one way
grow
to
up
ruin your
faster
fucking
by
life.
working hard.
Don't grow up.
You've
Never
gotta be
grow up.
patient.
It's a bad idea.
Everyone, I'm really grateful that you
Don't become
remembered
an
my
adult.
daughter's wish and took it seriously.
Ugh.
Thanks to the
This is not
protection
good.
of the Spina, even though her father's no longer with us, we've still felt plenty of...
Oh, it's the least we could do. As long as you live in Poisson, even if you're not an official member, you're still part of the family.
I also wish, again, like, I get a production line and there's fucking translations into different languages and stuff, but I wish they tried. That's the thing, like, earlier in the game, even if the voice lines weren't synced to their mouths, at least they were trying. They, at some point, I think they just gave up. And now most voice lines don't have animations. Ah, dear.
Boss!
Huh? Is something up, Florent?
I've got something urgent to report. Romeu and his folks have gathered outside Poisson and even shipped in a huge pile of explosives.
What? Explosives? What do they want?
It seems like they've been planning this for some time. We started investigating as soon as we received your letter yesterday. But Romeu and his folks must have gotten wind as well, because they abandoned their former posts before we could even check on them. We investigated their tracks and found out that they're after Poisson.
Could they have smartened up since we caught them red-handed at the court?
Seems like they've got no interest in sitting down and talking at all. We should have gone straight to the Maison Gardiennage.
Sorry, I underestimated the situation. Well, too late now, I suppose. Florent, where are they keeping their explosives?
On the hill to the east of Poisson, near the Clementine line.
They want to blow up the Clementine line?
Certainly sounds like it.
Romeu and his followers hate the Spina and everything to do with Callus. And the Aquabus was the source of their contention. If they manage to blow up the Aquabus line, all that rubble will come crashing down the hill and straight into Poisson.
Are they insane? There's tons of innocent people in Poisson!
Yeah. If they've been planning this for ages, they're definitely not going to let this opportunity slip by. We have to issue an evacuation order to the townspeople and get them as far away from the entrance as possible. That should save them from the worst of it.
Let's get everyone onto our ship. That should be the safest place.
My dear partner, can I leave the Clementine line to you? If the explosives do go off, not only would the people of Poisson be in danger, any aquabuses using the line would plummet to the ground. Let's stop their insanity first, then settle the score with them.
Leave it to us, Navia. Please stay safe, too.
Let's go, you two. We've got to act fast. Miss Coralie, please take Adele to the ship.
Watch out, boss!
That's the sequence of events.
What do you think you're doing, Coulter?
I thought all the annoying little hindrances had left, but I still couldn't get rid of you.
You mean this was all a trick? So that you'd be left alone with me? Coulter, are you with Romeu too? Oh. I get it now. You knew about their plans all along. You only told us they were doing badly so that we'd drop our guard.
Not quite. Though I share their positions on some issues. And that's because, out of the entire spin...
You better stick close to me.
Romeu promised me that he would leave Poisson alone if I could just take you out.
Why did they move into a line of fire? Whatever.
But it was like you were glued at the hip to that pesky traveler. You never gave me a chance. Romeu has lost his patience. I didn't have to be here today, you know. But I swore that I'd kill you, even if it meant being buried with...
Why?
Only someone as clueless about the... You never saw the heyday of Spina di Rosula, but I saw it all with my... And it was all Clementine died because of you. Callus died.
So the shock and grief you showed us before.
Now you're catching on. I heard Malou... Did you know? Down there in that blasted fortress, I spent back then because of that aqua bus. We had a huge fallout. I was convinced that all the years passed by in a blur after that. But then he died, and it was because of you again, Navia. It's always because of you. I once loved the Spina and Poisson more than anyone else. But what is left now of either besides death and ruin? You've single-handedly destroyed everything that was beautiful.
Don't listen to him, boss! He's just spouting nonsense!
Have you ever considered that maybe the people around you don't actually care about you at all? Have you ever considered that maybe you only get respect because you're Callus and Clementine's child? That you've never done anything worthy? That you're just a big nothing? Have you ever considered that maybe people don't stay in Poisson because of you?
Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. Yeah, looking back on it now isn't it? But is that really why they support me? Is their kindness real?
Shut your mouth! I, for one, really like Miss Navia. I don't know how to explain it, but
I'm sure Mr. Malus would be extremely disappointed in you right now. You've somehow managed to pin the blame for every mistake.
Get out of the way, Florent. I don't want to hurt you.
You're gonna have to. Boss, there's no time for this. Stop hesitating and get out of here before you get buried.
Maybe
Navia
you
can
think
take us
you're
down in
being
like
the
one
realist
shot.
by painting the history of the Spina and Poisson like this. But the love that I felt from everyone was just as real. I felt it. They've helped me get to where I am. And even now, I will continue to believe in that love. So let me show you just how much I love the Spina di
Yeah, boss
Rosula.
man. Okay, I mean, that scene started out a little bit cringe. I hope some other guys just fucking teleported in.
Hey there! Haha! Watch out! Hiya! Fire!
Well, with bombs. Where'd that come from?
Hey there!
Alright. The scene started out a little bit cringe. But I actually think the way he
I'll leave the
tested
town to you.
Navia's character
Summon the
was
other
kind
members
of
and help
interesting.
with the evacuation
I
of the
don't know if
townspeople.
those flashbacks were
If you
necessary.
find any of Coulter's accomplices, subdue them quickly, and don't give them the chance to harm any ordinary civilians. I can't allow my partner to face the danger on the Clementine line alone.
Got it, boss. I'm on it. Are you okay, Navia?
I don't know, but I have to go.
People just often get that we've battled
Let's hurry up
some
then.
extremely powerful beings and won.
If they're gonna blow up the waterway, they must have planted the explosives next to the
Some
support
fucking
pillars.
low-life terrorists are not the problem.
Gather!
There is no escape!
We certainly brought a lot of muscle. They're really slowing us down. But if we're meeting resistance, we must be heading in the right direction.
Hold up, guys, can I just... No? Okay.
Gather!
Take!
Strike a pop!
Shine down!
These must be the explosives, right? And this is the control mechanism. How can we disable it? Oh, Paimon's too scared to touch any of this stuff. Huh? There's a strangely shaped hole here. What is it for? Oh, that certainly sounds possible. Maybe one of the people we just beat up has the key. Okay, you take this side, Paimon will take the other. Let's see what we can find. Let me turn this guy over. Ugh, he's super heavy. He could probably eat a whole Paimon just for breakfast.
See, I don't mind Paimon probably because of Somnium Files. There are definitely, like, elements of... Paimon feels like Mizuki, but even more of a crackhead.
Oh, you found it! That's amazing!
I don't know if we should do this, though.
That should do it, right?
I love this nice and chill music playing right
Navia
now.
and Florent should be able to relax now. Oh, you're right. They could have set explosives elsewhere, too. Let's go.
Right, everyone says this cutscene is epic. Let's hear it.
They're gonna bury Priscilla!
Great work, partner. Just leave the rest to me.
Watch out, Navia! You can't block them all!
Block. I'm doing this the Spina way.
I thought people said that the Traveler switches elements in the middle of it, confirming that they canonically can switch whenever they want.
I heard from Thierry that
That was
even
a
their
fucking
enemies
lie.
now. They were once a part of Spina di Rusula.
Did I get that
You plan to
screenshot?
settle this privately with
I don't
them?
think I did. I did. Let's go. I gotta go get my dinner.
I have nothing more to say to them. Regardless of whether their hatred and anger towards me or the Spina was justified, anyone who's willing to endanger innocent civilians is no longer sane enough to even be worth trying to talk to. Please prosecute them in accordance to the law. Spina di Rosula will not raise any objections.
Sounds good. We're very appreciative of your help. Without it, the consequences would have been far worse. All right, this operation is a wrap. Take him away.
We won, Navia! We saved everyone! And you were so cool!
Yeah. Luckily, we were just in time. It's probably because I expended too much elemental energy at once. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
But you usually glow up whenever other people compliment you. Paimon's not used to seeing you like this.
Don't fucking
Boss,
guilt trip
we
people
managed to catch
for
all the
not looking
infiltrators
their
in the
best,
town.
Paimon.
The Maison Gardiennage
That's
is
how you
taking them
make
away as
people
well.
fucking hate themselves. Fuck you.
Seems like Romeu really went all in on this mission. If he sent literally everyone he had, though, that also means we've caught them all, too. We won't have to worry about them from now on.
Got it. That's good, at least. Coulter, I can understand how you feel. The things that we lost, they're forever beyond our grasp now. And that makes them appear even more precious. I am not Callus, and I will also never become him. The Spina and the Poisson that you loved are both gone. But I will not change how I feel about our future. I still believe that this is a great opportunity to start anew. I will spend more of what the Spina earns on the betterment of Poisson. What's more, I'd also like to propose some changes to the Aquabus routes, so that one day, the people of Poisson will enjoy the boons it brings as well.
I know what you're trying to say. Mr. Callus would never have said anything like that. There are too many things in life that are just beyond our control. In that, we are the same.
This guy's an attempted murder.
You are no longer a member of Spina di Rosula. But once you're discharged from the fortress again, you're welcome to pay another visit to Poisson.
No.
Thank you, Navia.
No, he isn't. I don't care what you think, Navia. I won't let him back here because I'm not gonna let you let a fucking terrorist into Poisson.
As I thought. Boss really is a kind and gentle person.
She
She's
is also,
stupid.
I must say, a truly unlucky person. Thank you for protecting the Clementine line. I was actually really scared, you know. I mean, even the Callus line won't be getting rebuilt anytime soon. If I'd lost the Clementine line too, I wouldn't know how to live with myself. A name is a way to etch a memory onto the world. Losing the line that bears her name, that I can see every day, would be like losing my mother all over again. Seeing it still standing there, tall and proud, it makes me really
Is Callus
happy.
lying the one out the back
What
of the
happened
court?
while we were gone? Honestly, you
Which
look more
goes past like
upset
the
than
Fontaine
tired or
Institute and is all
anything.
fucked up.
Just give her some time.
Thank you so much. Can you give me a hand? I really don't have much strength left. Traveler, I want to ask you something. And please, tell me the truth. Do you really see me as your partner?
No.
Of course.
Okay.
That's good then. Hearing that, it brings me more relief than I can say.
How do you feel, Navia? Any better after taking a break?
I feel quite a bit better. But I should probably still rest for a few more days. Sorry, partner. I said some weird things earlier.
Feel free to just ignore me. I used to think that I'd never doubt myself. But you could say I've discovered that I'm not as strong as I thought I was.
I agree, Navia. Critical thought was a
Older men
mistake.
My parents,
Evolution
as well
is a
as
curse.
Malus and Silver. It's all thanks to them that I've made it this far in life. Do you think they ever regretted the choices they made? Has my existence made this world
Like that, Navia. You've already done more than enough. No matter what others think, we'll always support you to the end of the world.
Paimon is fucking
Well, since it's
awful
ended up
at
like
emotional
this,
support.
I suppose
I'm
it's
pretty
time for
bad
me
as
to
well.
make a confession as well.
That's just because of my
There's something that I've
perspective.
been keeping from you as well, boss. Please, follow me.
But Paimon
Everything
just
is already
fucking
prepared.
sucks. She says, "Oh, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Don't be depressed. Don't doubt yourself. It's fine." Shut the fuck up, Paimon.
Florent, I hope you can understand that I can't deal with any more shocking revelations right now.
Don't worry. This surprise will be a pleasant one.
How the fuck do people still play Destiny 2? But playing Destiny 2, I feel like is like a mental condition. Like there's something wrong with you. That is probably really
Why is
offensive. I shouldn't
everyone
have said
gathered
that.
here? And what's this?
This was supposed to be a gift to you from everyone in the town. We were originally planning to show it to you once it was finished, but special times call for special measures. I've never seen you look so defeated before, so I've decided to show you the designs before the final product was done.
Do I really look that bad?
Well, if you're ready, I'll unveil the present.
This is... Papa. Mother.
It's
And
very sweet.
We designed the
That's
look for
very
Miss
sweet.
Clementine based on old camera records, as well as personal recollections from members of the Spina.
Wow. This is the statue you mentioned before?
It is indeed. To be honest, we decided on the design a long time ago, and gave the sculptor permission to begin working. We only asked Boss to decide on a design so she wouldn't realize we had already started.
How could we only have statues of Mr. Callus and Mrs. Clementine?
Even though Boss is still young, we've all seen the work she's put in regarding the whole synth business and the rebuilding of Poisson.
We wanted to commemorate her contributions with a statue as well.
I don't know what Spina di Rosula was like in the past, but I know it's a great organization now.
With Navia around, we're not worried about this place's future.
We're gathered here today to tell our boss that we support you and believe in you wholeheartedly. I believe everyone is here for you, not the glory days.
That's what we believe as well.
Thank you so much, everyone. Then I'll be brave and just accept everyone's support for what it is. This really is quite the surprise. I never thought that I'd have the chance to stand next to my mother. Not even in my wildest dreams.
So we are going to actually get a statue of Etsushane. Despite all the taking the piss I did there, that was one of the better story quests. What Fontaine story quests have we had so far? Novelette, Rena, Navia? Oh, and Linny. Okay. Number one best. Between Rena and Novelette, whichever one doesn't get number one gets number two. Then Linny. Then this. But I feel like I'm already forgetting one. There's a way to check, isn't there? Right, yeah, that's what I was forgetting. Yeah, the reason why I forgot is because it was I don't remember a single thing about Risley. I remember there was one scene near the end of it, I think, where he sits down to eat. That's it. I don't remember any of Risley's quest. I remember like the ends of Novelette and Linny's. Of course, I remember a decent bit of Farina's. Obviously, that was more recent though. Yeah, Risley is easily the worst out of all of these ones. Risley's I would definitely put on like the bottom third of story quests. It was just so aggressively uninteresting. It was so fucking drop dead boring. And Risley as a character is also fucking drop dead boring to me as well. I like his design. I like his kit. I like that he feels unique when he uses boxing gloves as a weapon. I like the fact he does that. Opens up the ability for him to, in the future, give characters unique weapons and say that, oh, they're just using a catalyst. But Risley actually beyond all those superficial or mechanical elements, I think as a character he fucking sucks. I don't like him, and I don't like his quest. It was fucking awful. So... Novelette or Farina as number one best? I would say Farina's was more disappointing. It was still like a really good quest, but it was disappointing because unfortunately Genshin just refuses to tap the full potential of her character. They could have gone some really dark places with it, and they didn't, which is a shame. Because of that, I would give it to Novelette. So Novelette, Farina, Linny, Navia, Risley. Just because Navia is second to worst doesn't mean it's anywhere near as bad as Risley. I would put Risley as like one of the worst in the game. It fucking sucks. Which quests can I remember? All I remember about Deas is that they're in the desert and there's an underground desert structure you go into. Our Hatham's was like the mind control one. I really like that. I have some clips from that I still use as reaction clips. Like Al Haytham when he says that... I'll just put it up. Ow. Almost stabbed myself with my fork. was Kole. When the fuck did I do our Haven's quest?
This is correct.
Okay, now that's April, okay, it wasn't that long ago. That's Krumaru in the car. Here it is.
You couldn't be further from the truth, but I wasn't expecting much from you to begin with.
That's the 9th of August. Yeah, I liked our Haven's. Nikiza's 2 quests, both amongst the best. I don't remember Sinos. Was that like we were in the desert and we were tracking down some guys? Yeah. Nilu's, I'll be honest, I struggled to remember Nilu's. I just remember there were some conversations inside the tree, then outside the tree, and then we were back inside the tree. I can't. No, it was about the theatre being threatened to shut down, wasn't it? And we put on a performance to show that Nilu's dancing is really good. So please don't close down the theatre. Yeah, I remember that. Well, that was fine. Tainari's one was good, but it wasn't good because of Tainari. So I don't know if I can really give it credit for that. But the story of that quest was good, but it had nothing to do with Tainari. It was just, he just happened to be there whilst another good story, which was unrelated to him, was happening. Kazua's, he got possessed by a fucking sword. It was fine. Ayato's, I don't remember yours, Ayato, I'm sorry. All I remember about is, it was probably about some espionage. Oh, it was about the arranged marriage. And someone trying to break it up. Yeah, that was fine. Yaimiko, instant S tier, because it's Yaimiko. She can step on me. Ito's was about Onis and stuff. It was fine. Kokomi's was some parts about it I really love. The scene with Kokomi in her little cave, that was lovely. But the rest of the quest isn't as much. Raiden's quests, there's some really mixed feelings. Her first one is like you just go out in Inazuma for a day, isn't it? That one is pretty nice and chill, but it is good. The second one, the story, I didn't like it, but it gets you the coolest fucking boss fight in the game. Yoimiya gets 2 because favoritism. I don't remember Yoimiya's first one at all. Like honestly, when I was playing it, I don't think I even realized it was a Yoimiya story quest. I thought it was just part of the Inazuma main story. I completely forgot. I didn't even realize I was doing a Yoimiya quest. But I was. All I remember is the domain at the end of it. But the second one in Sumeria was really cute. Ayaka's, she wears socks in water. Pretty good. Baiju's had some interesting themes and stuff going on with it, and you had Hoot House screen time in it, if I remember correctly. It was good. Yolan's was fine. It was fine. There's nothing particularly interesting going on with it. Hoot House was actually kind of underwhelming, if I remember it correctly. Not a whole lot happened in it, I don't think. Hu Tao is a fun character to follow, but her story was not. You didn't fully realise that. Not a bad quest, but not great either. Zhao's. What the fuck was Zhao's about? Oh yes, this was like a fake Adeptus. Yes, that was a pretty good one. And even better, it has like lingering consequences after the story. And you can rebuild that area. That's a good one. Garnus, lovely. This is a fun little one. It's fairly short, if I remember correctly. But it's fun. It gives you a little bit more concepts for a character. It's fine. But obviously, because Garnus is my favourite character, instant S tier. John Lee's, unfortunately, are kind of a little bit boring. If it weren't for John Lee, they'd be pretty boring. This is Age Star, isn't it? So this is Age Dahar, and this one is the Salt Kingdom. Okay. So they both kind of have a boring setup into a cool conclusion. Tartaglia's is where he has to pretend to be a toy maker for his brother. It's fine. Xingqiu's, I don't remember yours. I still don't remember yours, even though I just read it. Zhang Ling's was like a cooking competition gimmick. It's fine. Eula's was terrorism. It's fine. Albedo's was kind of weird because lacking context for Albedo's character, this story quest really assumed that you were playing at the time, and so it didn't age well. Because like Albedo got a lot of screen time in events and stuff, but because I didn't play those events, I didn't have that screen time, and so it was just kind of weird. Mona's was also kind of weird. She just showed up. I was like, cool. I don't want to go back home, so I'll stay in Mondstadt. It was fine. Venti's. I don't really remember Venti's. Jean's was kind of cute. I liked Jean's. Is her being overworked and doesn't she take a day off? Wasn't it? Glee's was about terrorism, because Glee's a terrorist. She blows stuff up. Luke's, I don't remember yours. Razor introduces the fucking Crouch domain. Lisa, I don't remember yours. Kaya is about a sword, and Amber is about gliding. These are all tutorial missions. I think I was working on tier list for this. Did I ever put it out? I don't remember.
It seems like I started to question myself a bit too much. I'll pick myself up again and become a more reliable president for all of you. Looking back on it, I'm honestly embarrassed by how I acted earlier.
I'm sure everyone longs for that one thing in life that seems trivial to others, but they themselves can never obtain. To me, that would be a family portrait. I've always been super jealous of other people's family photos. I've never thought I'd receive a family portrait of my own. Especially not like this. It seems like I'm not such an unlucky person after all. It seems like I started to question myself a bit. Looking back on it, I'm honestly embarrassed. You know, I've thought about it before. Though my mother only wanted me to live a happy life, that's actually a tall order as well. In practice, it's just as hard to achieve my father's expectations for me. Even though my parents had very different personalities, they always had a lot of respect for each other. The Aquabus project was a monumental project that stood to benefit all of Fontaine. It would have been a little close-minded to assess or evaluate it only from the perspective of the clan. I think that's probably why she didn't step in to mediate or oppose the building of the lines. It seems like, looking back on it, I'm on— Oh, whoa. Why'd you have to remind me? Please don't say that again. It's super embarrassing for me. Oh, forget it now. Please forget that I ever said anything. Oh, wait. But it'd also be bad if you were to forget it. Okay, but please keep it a secret between us from now on. Please don't ever mention it again. Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you. Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Right, I gotta go have my hair straightened, but never miss out a good photo opportunity. I just finished my dinner. Right, now Farina's looking at a random corner, which doesn't work for this picture. Farina? Farina? I think there's too much of a gap between them. Should be a little bit closer. That's coherent composition, good enough.
How brilliant!
Right, if we leave, does this all disappear?
Add astro.
My next two resin condenser, and after that, I think I'll start investing the resin into the Ascension materials bosses. Obviously, Navia will disappear, but I hope the actual thingy itself doesn't disappear, because that actually looks really nice. Well, we do have automated fishing rods. What for that? If you use automated fishing rods, why not just use a net? Ah, no, the whole thing's gone. Oh. Oh. Alright. Solid quest. Will next patch have a story quest? That gave us more primos. Still only two wishes. I did drop wishes on Chevra's the banner, and I got one more Chevra's constellation and one more Kujo-Sara constellation out of it, which is actually good. So I've seen a Raiden Overload Hypercarry, so Raiden, Kujo-Sara, Chevrouz and Bennett. Now that is a team I definitely would be willing to try out. With time. Yeah, that's a lot to invest. When I already have a Raiden Hypercarry. Mostly good to go. But anyway. This might be my last